Hello, everyone. Okay, it's back. Fuck. No, because
Having
when I put the screen on the other side, um what are they called? Things, round things around us.
yeah.
They were
Frames.
gone. They were gone, and I
Oh.
could. I was freaking out. Okay, hello everyone. Hello stream, and welcome back to another day with the Natural Rockos. Today, uh, we have some new slash old faces that were here before and are now here again, and some faces you always see. What, Sarah?
That's the most valid reaction anyone can have, Tom. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have nothing funny to say. Or weird at the start of this. So
You sure you don't want to tell us about your butt?
look, this time I wasn't the one bringing it up. Also, Alex, we cannot hear you. I think you're just
We're
talking
not.
at
I
Sarah.
don't think we're supposed to.
I don't think we're supposed to. So yeah, welcome
No,
to this Friday. We are doing a new thing, as you can probably see with this very jade aesthetic. Um, is lovely, and yeah. So take it away, the sort of ceremonies. It's like so
Yeah,
small on my screen, I cannot read it.
it's very small on my screen also. But thank you, Tom. Hi everybody. Welcome to the stream, and this is our first time with a campaign that isn't Dungeons and Dragons. We've done one shots with other systems before. We've played Honey Heist. We played some Call of Cthulhu. And we no, that was an off-stream game. Regardless, this is kind of new for us. It's a new system to nearly all of the players. I've run it before, but it's a learning curve, as always with new stuff. So if you're here, you're probably a friend, given who's usually here at these streams anyway. But but we're going to be playing a game by Hamish Cameron called The Sprawl, heavily inspired by the old TTRPG system Cyberpunk 2020. It uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system, first developed in Apocalypse World. It's very different to D&D, but hopefully people will enjoy playing it and enjoy the narrative freedom that can come with it. I could give you the spiel about, the flavor pitch and stuff, but most people kind of know what we're talking about when we talk about Cyberpunk. Um, Hopefully, and I don't feel like it's a high bar to try to get over, we're going to do better than Cyberpunk 2077. But as I said, I don't think that's a very high bar. They can fucking come at me. I don't give a shit. So, eh. And plus, the overlay just looks really rad. This color scheme is just like, I'm living for it. But yeah. So I suppose without any further ado, I'm going to briefly put them on because I have them, even though I can't read shit while they're on, because they're just very cool. I'll keep them
Nice.
on briefly. Thing is, everything in front of me is reflectors. I just give away so much of what I'm looking at, just how many pieces of paper and screens I have around me, which arguably is very in keeping for a cyberpunk game. But there we are. So, without much more dicking about on my part, the year is 3535. Humankind finally got their asses in gear and got off of Earth. A generation ship called Verity was the first to make the journey and landed on an unassuming little rock, I suppose, after a very long journey. The ship landed, and as it was meant to do, took root, and a city began to grow out from it. Terraforming took place, mostly successful, left a somewhat pervasive weather pattern. It rains pretty much constantly in the city that grew, Verity City. And that is the titular sprawl of this campaign and where our characters live. A group of, we'll call them professionals, assets for the corporations that run the city. because that's how cyberpunk do. Imagine, if you will, a camera taking you out over black water, skidding along over the top of the waves, and in the distance, you see a glow. And as you get closer, it stops being one glow, but rather hundreds, thousands of lights. Neon reflected off glass and steel, structures stretching up and beyond the cloud cover. Verity City, for what it lacks in landmass, it more than makes up for in height. You think you know tall cities, you don't know shit. Verity City puts them all to shame. The camera sweeps in between the dazzling skyscrapers, through the lines of the metro trains, skimming down past neon billboards, flying cars, all manner of ephemera, and finds its way to the core of the city, a zone people like to call the Nexus. And the thing about the Nexus, what they like to tell you, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter which of the stratas you're from. You could have all the money in the system. You could be nobody and dirt poor. You can find something in the Nexus for you. At least that's the lie that they'll try and tell you. And for the most part, the factions and the corporations, they play nicely here because really, when things are in a delicate balance, you don't want to be the son of a bitch that brings the house of cards tumbling down. The camera comes in closer, and we see a neon sign illuminating a restaurant by the name of Neriday. That is where you are all heading. You got a call earlier today from an individual called Mick Sardell with the offer of work. And being as well, money's always tight, time to take it up. You never know, maybe it won't be a job for you. Though me as the master of ceremonies slash GM, we're really hoping you'll take the job because that's going to make getting into a campaign a lot easier.
No.
Well, shit!
We're here
Throw
to
all the
make things
papers away.
difficult.
Neriday sits, and this is where I forget my own world building. Let me check my document. As I said, the strata, like the levels of Verity City, don't matter too much in the Nexus. But for what it's worth, this is sort of a mid-tier restaurant. Would be in the Altus strata if you are outside of the Nexus. Players, I will happily give you a breakdown of these again, should you require them. But yeah. And as the camera goes in, you see decent sized restaurant, I suppose, surrounded on all sides and domed over with an aquarium. All kinds of aquatic life moving in. Yeah, that doesn't seem that unusual. People have vid screens everywhere. You can make a place look whatever you want. But as you pay close attention, no, that's real water. And that's definitely something moving in there. And as the camera sort of swoops around to see an individual in their early 40s, light tanned skin, dark curly hair tumbling around their shoulders, in a conservative ish business suit, you see an individual in the aquarium, long blue hair, sharp teeth, gills, just swimming around. People come to Neriday for the atmosphere more than the food. It was a really popular restaurant when it first opened, novelty being, well, what it is. Things have quietened down, but it's still a good place for a meeting. And so, meet you will. And now I will go around the group. Everyone get a chance to describe themselves and how their character makes their way to the Nexus and to Neriday in particular. What I will note for those of you with vehicles is much like Soho or Times Square, parking's a bitch, so don't expect to get anywhere close. But and once we've described everybody's characters, we're going to do the last stage of character creation, which is called links. And that will establish how this group of professionals have come to know each other in the past before they find themselves together again at this meeting. Who would like to go first? I will pick on somebody otherwise.
Hey.
Okay, if you want to give say who your character is, you don't have to give away her playbook just yet if you don't
Okay.
want to. If you
Um,
want to, you can, but give her an idea of her name, what she looks like, and how she makes her way to this meeting.
so my character's name is Air. Um, she Well, imagine Tessa Thompson. That's the face claim. There you go. With shortish curly hair, with red and pink tips and orange. Um, she's wearing no earrings actually. She has a crop top. Over that, a leather jacket with like studs and stuff, of course. Why not? Um, then she's wearing teared up jeans, and underneath it fishnet stockings, or how do you call them? Fishnet
No, you're good.
leggings or something like that. And military boots. And when you look at her, you can see that she's definitely augmented, enhanced, because when you look at her, her skin goes from regular natural skin to metal in parts, and she makes her way through, I would say, maybe side alleys. She doesn't want to stand out too much. She knows her way.
Okay. Okay, I'm going round anti-clockwise on our overlay. Sarah, how about you go next?
Hell. Okay. Let's see. I am playing a little bitty 5'2" Caucasian girl. She's got a shock of really glossy red hair that kind of sticks out in all directions, like she's not really sure exactly what to do with it. And I am walking. I am wearing, let's say, a ripped up plain white T-shirt and some pants that look way too big for me, and like one glove off of a set of gloves that was probably supposed to have two gloves. And on the way there, I probably end up. What little money I have, yeah, absolutely. I'll buy a bag of roasted nuts. Oh, yes, absolutely. $2 for a sketch? Yeah. Oh, no, I can help you. Yes, sir. You do look hungry. So I will be accosted and interact with probably everybody on the way there. It takes me a little while to get everywhere, so I leave early.
Okay. Nairi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I play a 5'3" brunette. She's got sort of just dark brown hair just past her shoulders that are lined with kind of light brown to almost blonde streaks. Um, she's got piercings on her brow, on her ears, on her nose. Um, she's got eyeshadow, like really, really dark and really on theme. Um, you see her mainly wearing really dark clothing. Duh. A lot of leathers involved. She doesn't go anywhere without her leather jacket. There's always got to be something checkered in there, or plaid, checkered, whatever you want to call it. And it's always got to involve boots because she has to be on the move, and she finds that the most comfortable outfit to wear for that. Yeah, she's also augmented. She's got one arm that is cyber, and it's her right arm. Uh, and she's kind of always quiet and very very not really out there, not really outspoken, not really loud about her existence and her presence. So she's going to be taking back alleys or the most quiet route she can find to Nerede. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. Right. Help if I spelled it correctly. Like it, as if my bullshit made up word has a correct spelling. There we go.
Mm.
Alex.
My character's name is Nixon Frost. He's 6 feet tall, thin, has kind of a scruffy beard and short hair, maybe inch and a half long. Might be curly if it was longer. Wears sunglasses and is wearing a very nondescript black suit with a trench coat and flying his hover sedan. So he'll park somewhere and then make his way in.
Okay. And Shrug.
Yeah. Hover taxi pulls up next to the restaurant. A bit of friendly chat, a couple taps on a data pad, and Electrona Glass steps out of the taxi. An elegant looking woman in a black dress, a bit of a Kristen Stewart look like, maybe an inch taller. Um, Hair that might be chin length or a little longer, but pulled up into a tight bun. Um, just takes out an umbrella. Are these the depths to which I have been reduced? No, no, no. It's quaint. It's charming. This will be interesting.
Okay. Given that Alec, thank you again for that choice.
Yeah,
Not at all confusing.
anytime.
Uh-huh. Interestingly enough, one of the principles that they advise when you are running the sprawl is that you address the characters, not the players. So from here on in, I am just going to call you by your character name, and hopefully that will make it less confusing. Question mark. I live in hope. I live in hope. Anyway, as I imagine that getting a taxi there, it's and not having to find parking, that Alec will arrive first. So let's address the links section of character creation. You've already introduced your character. You need to tell the assembled players a job that you took against one of the corporations or a subsidiary of one of the corporations. You'll explain sort of what you did or what your sort of role in that was, or what you brought to the mission, as it were. It's a chance to show off, give a vibe of what Alex's skill set is like. Once you've done that, any of the other players can say, I would have liked to have been involved in that job. And you can quickly establish what your character might have done on it if you are helping somebody else. And this is how you generate the links stat on your character sheet. The more you've worked with somebody, the more links you have, and that makes it easier for you to help them or to hinder them should it come up later in play.
All right. So I took a job against Oneroy Media Consulting, specifically their division of the Major League Robo Derby Broadcasting Corporations. So their previous main commentator had given a couple of annoying interviews, let's say. And, well, we had a friendly chat, and he disappeared.
Is that Air volunteering to have been
Yeah.
a part of that?
Yep.
Sure. I'm just going to make some notes.
All right.
Would anybody else like to have been involved?
Who was the job against again?
Oneroy Media?
Yeah. Oneroy are kind of like, imagine every horrifying, yeah, kind of like Disney, but they like basically all media outlets in Verity City are controlled by them if you go far enough up the ladder. Specifically, the major league Robo Derby Broadcasting, who we decided was, what was it, MLRD?
Yeah, MLRD, Mallard.
Mallard. Yeah, their symbol is a duck. They haven't been actual ducks in Verity City ever, but people, there's like a certain nostalgia for things from Earth from time to time. So, but that's
Yeah,
them.
given the adrenaline fuel of RoboDoggery, clearly the history has conflated ducks with geese a little bit, and so they're seen as these aggressive, terrifying beasts.
Mm. Okay. So we know Air was in, and for the record, we don't have. Not everybody has to pile on every job. Ideally, you want to have links with one or two characters before we start. But as I said, it's also something that gets generated through play as well. So if nobody, as long as you've joined on one person's job, so you've got a connection to another member of the crew, you're absolutely fine.
So that is then a link with Air that I put on my sheet, or that
And
Air puts on hers.
both.
Okay.
Wait, I will double check that because I said that with
Quite.
such confidence, and now I'm doubting myself.
Quite.
Yep. Nope. You don't add anything to your sheet, but Tom, under the links section on Air's sheet,
Yeah.
you will put Alec. And
Okay.
is there space for a number as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Put that as a 1 on the end.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll work.
Okay. Who wants to go now? Actually, let's go with Air, as Air volunteered on that one. Just while you're panicking to write something down, now you have to think. If you can't remember the list of corporations, they are slightly further up in the Discord chat.
I will say
think I pinned
I did a job against the big pharma.
Fun thing, didn't come up with a name for Big Pharma. Does anybody have a fun, cool name that they wish to give the, I'm going to say the evil Big Pharma? All Big Pharma is evil, what I'm even saying. But the corporation that runs hospitals and controls like prescription medication, hospitals, all the things, the legal side of medical care, and probably a bunch of the illegal side of medical care also. Anyone got a fancy name? What I will say about Verity City is, in the same way that when places like to colonize new shit, they name a bunch of stuff after their old shit. There was definitely some of that going on here in Verity City, mythology or whatever.
Hippocrates Rex.
I'm so mad at you. No, I'm vetoing Hippocrates Rex on principle. If I don't make a stand now.
See, I was gonna say just Rex because the RX prescription symbol, and also
Name it Cedar Sinai after the hospital.
Oh, I like that.
Mm.
Can you drop the spelling of that, Alex? Because I don't know.
Mayo 2, the Clinicaning.
10 weeks, buddy. 10 weeks. Okay. And what was the job you were doing against Cedar Sinai?
There might have been a doctor. Set to take care of.
Uh-huh. How is this more than just a taking care of? Like, if this was a job that involved not just you, so there's a way that one of the others can have been helping you in it. Is this like just a doctor that worked in one of the hospitals? Is this somebody higher up in the organization?
I would say
like an assassination.
I would say
all well and
somebody
good.
higher up, and it had to look like a say accident.
Oh, darling, I've seen your methods. I can do things so much more tactfully. Why don't I give you a hand?
Okay.
I agree to this. I agree to this. Does anybody else want to get involved in this two ladies killing somebody vibe?
Again.
Okay, no worries. Alec, if you add +1 link with air, who's making the thing? Okay. Harlow, Fibonacci, or Nixon. Who wants to go next?
I could go, or do you want to go?
Please, please, you have the hair of a leader. Go ahead.
Thank you. Um, uh, so Harlow took a job from the Lead Sharks, considering they are gun runners slash salvagers slash illegal arms traders. I'm guessing. She took a job from them that would have allowed them to sort of temporarily use the area she works in with cyberware to be where they stashed some of their illegal stuff that they picked up just for a short amount of time, and in return she would have gotten some supplies and some money um, uh, uh, as compensation for risking her life, not life, but like just her security by holding these illegal items in her possession. But also it involved occasionally helping them retrieve some more. So going on some runs to actually help them build up this pile before they packed it all up and took it away at the end.
Sure. So you were working with, or I should say for, the lead sharks doing that. Did they hit a corporation in the process? Because that's the key here. It's just like working with somebody is great, and I like getting the ties in. Who were they acting against? Because that was you working in league with somebody for sure. And there's no reason why the lead sharks couldn't have been just like, hey, we're gonna hit so and so and get some of their good stuff. You just need to make the choice of who the lead sharks were trying to piss off, or who had stuff that the lead sharks wanted.
Uh let's be an asshole and say it's the big pharma again. Or
Okay.
well, either that or ultimate aesthetics, taking parts that people would really want but they can't afford and selling it on black market. So
Sure.
So yeah, ultimate aesthetics. And
Alright.
maybe Harlow was entitled to some of those pieces so that whoever came to her to be fixed can also look good while they get that treatment.
I dig it. Anybody want to be involved with this smash and grab from Ultimate Aesthetics?
Oh, I like a good theft. I could
Okay.
help you bypass some security measures in the real world.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right then. Fibonacci, on your character sheet, you want to add under links, Harlow with a +1. Anyone else want to have been involved? As many of you can have been involved on a job as possible. Like everybody can pile in.
Want to?
I'm sure you have other skills.
All I do is murder.
The playbook's the killer, not the skiller.
Campaign cancelled. I'm done. Oh. We made it. 40, half an hour.
This is the end.
This is the end. Okay.
Sure, you
I'm
know
kinda
what?
down for being
Yes.
What?
You know what? Yes. But
Okay.
there was somebody in the sharks I had to kill, and this was way for me to get through that.
You know, Air can take jobs that don't involve killing. I want to stress that to you. Like,
Can't you though?
she's
Can't you?
she's yeah. Don't feel bound by the confines of the little job title it says underneath your name on the overlay. Like, your skills are along a certain line, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same punchline. You can mix it up a little if you want.
Sure.
That
Then
is
I'll
entirely one of
just
the
help.
moves you can do.
Then
So
I'll
you
just
want
help.
to be involved on this ultimate aesthetics job?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, you also need to add link with Harlow,
Harlow.
+1.
Fun. Thank you.
I mean, I'm kind of
Fibonacci.
tempted to just pile onto all of the jobs now.
If you want to join in on the ultimate aesthetics job, you can.
I like
You more
having
than anybody
friends.
else know about how clocks work in the system. So
That's true. I'll see what the other two have.
okay. Fibonacci. What job did you pull?
Well, okay, so you guys might have heard about the new line of Eyeglasses X coming out from Lasardo. Okay, so nobody alive knows more about Lasardo's information security than I do. So I helped us get the plans for the new product before it came out. And I would have needed a whole team to do this. Obviously, I'm operating outside the complex, so I would have needed people to go in, people who could talk, people who could take care of any problems that came up. Money, guys. Lots of money.
Okay. Hitting Lasardo Synthetics. What was the name of that product, Sarah?
Oh, God, what did I say?
Glasses
Anybody?
X?
Eyeglass X, maybe?
Eyeglass X. There we go. It's one of the big things in the spoilers. They talk about name everything, especially products. The society is entirely driven by capitalism, so feel free to name everything. And sometimes I will go, "Hey, what's that called?" And then you will flail as I flail when I have to name anything. It's just like,
Is it
So
an Apple product or Pear product in
no,
whatever?
nope. Technically, Lasardo is this city's equivalent of.
Pear.
So yes, as it's described in the list, is Apple meets Skynet. You know, those friendly folk.
So just Apple.
Okay. So who was involved in this job against Lasardo? We have. Oh, everybody! How many people are in? So Harlow's in.
I have a question.
Nixon's in. Oh, was that a question?
Yeah.
Or do you want in on the job? Or both?
Kind of both. Was Lasardo the final choice of what we were discussing earlier?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah.
Okay, so
But
Harlow is in. Add Fibonacci to your links. Alec is in. Add
This
+1.
job is more delicate than you realize, my friend.
I'm gonna die. And Nixon is in. So, what did you guys bring to the table on that job, other than apparently an ability to be delicate? I'm intrigued.
Interesting how you say no one has more insider information on Lasardo than you do.
very interesting.
On their security specifically. I couldn't tell you about their
I see.
personnel or their banking or their, interior design. It's really
Well,
impressive, though.
I might be able to help with some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might
Harlow
have gone
would
off
help
on my
with
own
the-
once or twice during the job.
Cool.
Harlow would help. She's occasionally done jobs where she's had to pose as the mechanic, so she could do that, or she could just help you break into the actual hardware of something. Like, I don't know, like whatever just software hacking can't get into. That kind of shit.
Okay. And Nixon.
I find people, things, and answers.
Okay.
Do you have need of these skills?
Okay. So add Fibonacci to your links and +1. It's about halfway down the character sheet, I believe. It's got its own section.
Very.
Yeah, just under moves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake, I'm
Yes.
just sending you one thing in the DMs, but check it whenever you can.
Okay.
Ow.
Okay. And lastly, Nixon.
So it's like really funny that you went first and apparently just randomly picked because my job was against Lasardo also.
Okay.
Because they had a Nova Hot programmer that Major Blue wanted.
Okay.
And so
Mhm.
I was responsible for disappearing
Mhm.
somebody from Lasardo Synthetics and then facilitating their new life in Major Blue.
Okay.
So I might have even gone to do their job and like someone else before me kind of stop off on the way to do mine also.
Uh-huh. Very good. Was anyone else or who else, because at least one person needs to have been involved with Nixon's. Okay. 2.
Are we allowed to claim we were in on the job to sabotage it?
Not in this instance, though. Actually. If you had your own goal reasons for being there, but still ultimately helped with the job, because the idea is that you're trying to work together as a cohesive group now. You could have had ulterior motives for being along to do your own shit while there. Sabotage feels like a little counterintuitive.
Okay.
Maybe it's a sabotage that's worked successfully, so I don't know. Because, I mean, don't you want us to have a gunfight in the rain on a roof?
I mean, look, you're speaking my language.
I think I can have my own ulterior motive. I can explain something about the particular programmer in question. So.
You know what? I'm going to be on the job too.
Everyone wants to be friends with Nixon.
Okay, so everybody.
It is a great sentence out of context.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you, guys.
Having read the book, I'm a little nervous about these choices.
That's fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm sure this will have no ramifications. Okay. So the good thing is, everybody worked on that job. So it's kind of like a little reunion from that time you went and got that person out of Lasado, which is nice. Team building. So, as you all arrive at Neride, there is also another member of this crew. David couldn't be with us today, but we will bring his character in as and when, and I'm sure you're going to love her when she arrives. And David will get a chance to weigh in on all of those missions, and also his character will have had a job that you guys will also get to weigh on, so his character isn't left linkless. So, but okay, so you guys one by one make your way there today. How do you sort of like this? As I described earlier, the restaurant's this sort of very big open space, and it is kind of like being in one of those walk-through tunnels at the aquarium where like the fish can swim over your head. But like the whole restaurant is like that. So, and yeah, this is the vibe. You're all catching up with each other, and none of you have met Mix Ardell before, but I threw my pencil on the floor. But she would have, sorry, they would have given a description of themselves if need be, or like, I'll be the one sitting alone. There'll be a vase with 3 gladioli. on the table, so you knew who it was. As it stands, the restaurant is very quiet when you all sort of arrive. There is this figure with the vase of flowers, as described, and the long wavy hair. There's a couple of people in suits at another table, somebody dining by themselves over off on one side, and that's it. It's quiet.
Exciting. Pleasure to be sure.
That's where I check your character's last name again, because I have forgotten. Miss Glass, please do take a seat.
Mrs. Glass, if you please.
My apologies. And she pulls out a small data pad, and they pull out a data pad and make a correction.
Good day.
I was gonna say, do you arrive like? Are you like the third to arrive, second to arrive? Do you arrive second?
Second.
Is Air like a Air? Okay, we've declared it. Air shows up second.
Yep.
Looking desperately underdressed. I will point out for this restaurant. Does that bother her?
Nope.
Okay. You sort of step in, and which is the thought I should have had. I don't go to nice places to eat. This is what I told you. The maitre d' indicates the table that you should go to, and looks like he's gonna say something about your outfit, and then looks at you again and decides better of it, and that he's not paid enough to question this, and sort of like gestures you over, accompanies you over to the table. Who
Carlo
shows
heads in.
Mm-hmm. You said has she made an effort clothes-wise for this like mid-level restaurant? Is it like not ripped clothes today? Like, what's the vibe?
Oh.
That was for Harlow, not for Air. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, as I said, nowhere without the leather jacket. Something kind of like this because aesthetic, come on, let's just say. She's likely got the hood of it pulled up kind of like this a little bit, even indoors, you know. Yeah, no, dark navy jeans, black boots. Just walks in like she owns the place, even though she doesn't really make eye contact.
Sure. You're also just over the table. Mix Ardell gives you the nod. Miss Harlow.
I pull hair down.
Thanks. Ardell.
Miss Harlow.
Don't you two look prepared?
That's what's important, isn't it?
One could argue that, yes.
Mixardell is just sort of like making notes on this data pad, just like leaving you to your weird inter-crew interactions. Like, they're not going to be starting until everybody's here. So.
I try to take a peek.
I'm not going to make you do a roll yet because that's
Okay.
not interesting. She spots what you're doing and is just sort of like, actually, no, I'm going to correct that. It's the kind of tech which can only be viewed from a very specific perspective. So as you try to look at it, the screen just looks blank, and they just give you a raised eyebrow.
Give them a wink.
Cute. And goes back to tapping. Who's next to show up?
Me, reasonably, I guess. I had to park and then walk.
Sure.
So, yeah. Nixon
Okay.
rolls in. and would immediately like to take in the surroundings, everyone present, and all entrances and exits, because that's how he roll.
Okay.
Because he's
Give
got
me
the cyber eyes, so he'll just.
sure. Um. All
Size
right,
up
Nixon.
everyone's clothes.
Give me an edge roll, please, to assess.
So edgy.
And that's
yeah,
just 3d6 plus 2 because of my edge.
Let me. Is that
2d6.
Yeah, it's
You
2 to
should
6.
be
If
able
you
to hit the edge button, right?
Yeah, that little dice, the little d20 next to your edge stat, you can literally just hit that. I'm just checking if your cyber eyes give you a option to do a different roll on that.
Input value forward 0. What?
Yep, 0 for now. Sometimes if you've done previous moves, you can get +1 forward to give you like a little boost. Not the same as advantage, but it gives you like a little +1 modifier.
So if I'm reading that correctly, I got an 11.
You did get an 11. That's good. On an 11, you get what's referred to as hold. No, the hold is sort of an abstract thing in the sprawl. It basically like sits there until you need to use it. In this case, in the scene that follows, and you can use all of this now if you want to. You've got a list of questions that you can ask me as the MC. It's on basic moves 1 in Roll20. And as you can ask me those now. You can ask 1 now and save 2 for later, or you can spread this around however you want. But then anytime you act on the information gathered, you get to add a +1 to the roll. So.
Okay, I would like to ask if I have more than one right now.
Yep, absolutely.
What potential complications do I need to be wary of in this situation?
Okay. The 2 people in suits dining together, you are able to put together from like their body language and the way they're sort of not really talking to each other very much, that they are with Mixardell and that they're additional security for them. And it's an open restaurant. There's not a lot of cover in here. If shit went, and that is very much real water. Know what the walls are made of. So that's a choice that they made. Doesn't seem like the most.
I mean, I'm
they're
seeing the how of it. I just don't get the why.
Yeah. I feel like as a guy, wealthy man of the city, there's sort of been a movement as of late. Let me check. There's my bit of paper with the note on it. Come on, fingers, work for me. There's something of a with the prevalence of the technology that they have. As I said, this is the year 3535. You can make anything in the digital space, and it can be and it can seem as real as anything. Because that can be done, there's this real sort of movement to actually create things, to make things authentic, the true, real experience. It's a load of bollocks, as you can tell from my tone of voice as I try to explain it. And so the fact that they've made this choice to have real water and maybe real fish, maybe tiny robot fish, and that is a person with what appears to be gills and sharpened teeth swimming around in there. That's a choice, clearly.
That's Mr. Sharp. He likes to.
But it's all trying to cater to that real thing, real experiences, stuff that's actually happening in the real as opposed to the weave in the digital world. So that's arguably the why, but still, of all the things you could do, building a restaurant where it's like you get to see the seafood before you eat the seafood.
Seafood.
I'm mad that was actually funny to me.
If you want to spend a hold at any point to ask another one of those questions, you can. And if one of those things I described to you ends up causing a complication, you'll get +1 to the roll to deal with it.
All right.
So.
I think I'm gonna sit on my remaining 2 at the moment.
No problem.
Nixon, is there a bar?
Oh, there is absolutely a bar.
Nixon will go to the bar and order 2 fingers of Kentucky bourbon.
Okay. It's a robot bartender. Not much of an effort's been made to make this look anything more than a robot. It's not got any kind of elaborate interface. There is a human, Larry. There is some human wait staff here. But this order or the bar is being run by this robot who happily takes your order and fixes you a drink, and it smells decent. I'm not gonna ask you to deduct money for that because money is a nebulous thing. The system uses cred, and 1 cred can get you a whole thing left. So small things like drinks or a meal, unless you're somewhere super fancy, I'm not going to be charging you guys for it. Not unless it's narratively interesting, anyway. So, well, yeah, you get your 2 fingers of Kentucky bourbon, and it's decent. And you can join the others at the table.
Yes, I will just walk up and without a word sit down at the any chair that keeps me facing the client and the door.
You'll have to sit next to them to get. They've purposely sat so they can see the door. So your best bet is to sort of sit next to them and pull your chair back slightly so you can have both them in your eye line and the door.
I will do exactly that and say nothing while I sip my drink and just sit.
Okay. And oh, you got something, Tom?
No, I'm just muted myself, so I'm unmuting.
Okay. And last but no means least, Fibonacci.
Hey, so I take a while, like I said, to get anywhere, and even though I left early, sometimes you get there a little early. I'll come in eating my bag of roasted nuts one at a time, tossing them in the air, trying to catch them and see if I can get a hold. I'll hi to the maitre d'.
The maitre d'. How are you dressed at this point?
Let's see. I look like I found my clothes in a lost and found at a library. We've got a red t-shirt. We've got pants like kind of tied on with a broken belt that's sort of in a knot.
He looks at you, faintly horrified. Looks over at the group. Looks at you. Mixardel's party?
Yeah, you want a nut? Here, just
I can't eat on duty, but thank you.
Oh man, that's not cool.
Right this way, miss.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Walks you over to the table where everybody else is and takes drinks orders for anybody else that wants one.
Yes, whatever tastes best.
That's a matter of opinion, miss. We have an...
What's your favorite?
What does he say to this? Poor Luca, he was not expecting these kinds of questions today. He recommends a Manhattan.
Sounds great.
They do still call that a Manhattan. They have not redubbed it a Verity City or something else. There is probably a cocktail called a Verity City. I do not know what is in it. I will come up with it later.
On the bottle, there's a man with a hat on.
I'm gonna fucking fight you.
Manhattan.
Manhattan's a cock. I'm gonna just. Does anybody else have a drink order except Tom, who is forbidden to speak ever again? What's everybody else drinking? Mixardel will cover this part of the bill. So.
Ooh, then 2, please. Anybody want a nut?
A sparkling wine, if you please.
Very good.
Alec refuses to call it champagne, as it cannot, by definition, be champagne.
It cannot, no.
You're one of those, okay.
Coconut.
Very good.
Screwdriver.
Mechanics. Another, sir, to you, Nixon. Gesturing at the glass you've already got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I just hold up my bourbon.
Okay. And yep, goes and gets the orders. And Mixardell sets down the data pad and sort of steeples their fingers across it. Thank you all for joining me today. I was hoping for another, but I'm sure she can become involved later should she see fit. I have a job for all of you. An extraction. There is an individual my employers have need of. Somewhat difficult to get hold of. And all of our methods for persuading have fallen short. So we're being forced to take a more drastic approach to our hiring policy.
We're good at that.
Well, that is reassuring to hear. Hello?
Do we know the employer of this person? Do we know this person?
Nope, and no.
Okay.
Given the lines of work you're all in, it's not that like I imagine you're the kind of people like burner phones or the equivalent of. So when offer of work comes, people can get hold of you. Nixon, you're possibly a listed number given what we've talked about with what he gets up to. So you're possibly very easy to get hold of. The rest of you have priors, as it were. Fibonacci.
How good is their data pad device gadget that they keep looking at? Because I judge people based on that.
It's pretty high end. Well looked after. Not the newest model, but a good model.
Nice.
I trust you need discretion. Alec is giving pointed looks at both Air and Fibonacci.
I hold out my nuts to you.
And the bag?
Oh yeah, the whole sack.
Welcome to Verity City, folks.
Oh, bless.
We understand that certain things may not be as quiet as one would hope, but that's why we are hiring outsiders. So, should things become less than discreet, it will not blow back on us.
I see. Of course.
Is this a job you'd be interested in?
How much?
Well, that depends. We have a sliding scale. I'm just checking how much he recommends in the playbooks because it's been a while. Sorry. As I said, been a little while.
Okay.
If the job is done to our satisfaction, that could be as much as 5 cred each. For what it's worth, 4 cred will hire you like discreet medical services for life-threatening wounds. That's not a small amount of money. Like, So,
That's not
to give you a
bad.
frame of reference. Thank you.
Job that pays is a job worth doing.
So, usually when you remove something or somebody from someone, that someone gets kind of mad. Who's the someone?
That's a good question.
The Navis group.
Oh, exactly.
Which one's?
The Navis group. Again, this is I've kept it pinned, so it's easy to find in the chat. The Navis group are they're software producers, kind of like Google, but
Oh yeah.
I was talking about earlier about how anything can be done digitally within the Weave, which is kind of like the Internet Plus, and the Navis group produce the software that most people use. Like they're the people that make effectively Firefox, Chrome, everything. Like if you're a
Not
Linux
Edge.
user, you probably don't have Navis group stuff. But otherwise it's like you can either use their stuff, and most people that don't have a degree of computer literacy enough to do work around it use their stuff.
The Microsoft to Lusardo's Apple.
Indeed. Well, Asada were focused more on the hardware side of things, but absolutely, you can make Navis. It behooves Navis Group to make software compatible with everything. Though, of course, they do produce their own devices, but
Nobody buys a Zune.
money better spent doing other things. Once the target has been extracted, you would contact me for instructions on where to deliver them and to collect your payment. It's as simple as that.
Does the person will be extracting wanna come?
Well, they have proved reluctant to accept the offer, but let me reassure you, they'll be well compensated.
How
And
do
we're
you
hoping that they will see sense.
how do you feel about their?
Well, we'd rather not have to replace anything.
How
It's an
about
added
repair?
expense. Well, should the target come to us damaged, then the cost of repairing them will come out of your payment. Call that an incentive to look after the parcel, as it were. Any other questions? No? Well, assuming everybody's agreeable, I need one of you to roll Get the Job. Now, it's arguably whoever's sort of been taking point on this conversation, I could make roll it, which is a very mean thing for me as the GM to do, because it sort of reflects who's taken the lead. But rolling Get the Job, it's an edge based roll. And how well you do on this determines, obviously, how well it goes or how much you get out of it. Anybody looking to
Edge class.
Yep, if Nixon wants to step up and do the negotiating with Mixardell.
Yeah, Alexis'
yeah.
character is the best at edging.
Do I just roll my edge, or do I?
You will. No, it's the way the sheet is set up is you literally roll the relevant stat to the move, so there's never any extra complicated stuff. Tom, could you take us over to the other overlay?
Yeah.
Thank you kindly.
Well, one of the others, I would be concerned about this, but at least you bothered to look the part.
And there we go. Yeah, so hit me with that edge roll. Okay. 2 plus 5 plus 2.
9.
9. Okay. Again, this is on basic moves 2. So if everybody wants to have a look on that, they can. On a 7 to 9, you get to choose one from the list below. The employer provides useful information. You'll obviously get the basic information to allow you to do the job. The employer provides useful assets. The job pays well. The meeting doesn't attract attention, or the employer is identifiable. You get one of these. And Nixon, you did the roll, so you get to choose which it is. You can confer with the rest of the party if you like, or with the rest of the crew. Ultimately, the decision is yours, so do let how Nixon would view the situation color your choice. Not just because I, Jade, am a shit stirrer and an enabler, which is true, but
Feelings?
I kind of like Money Gear or Intel personally.
I would not have chosen those. I
So
would have
you
chosen.
would have. You would have chosen.
I would have chosen either the job pays well or the meeting does not attract attention.
Okay.
That's
Anybody
2
else?
votes for money.
Anybody else?
I was gonna say, who else voted for
Either-
money?
Either useful intel or job pays well.
Okay.
What? Could you remind me what we do with links, please? How we can use these?
Link. You can roll links in order to help somebody, and that would give a +1. So if any, yeah, I should have said this. This is my apology. If somebody wants to roll links, that could give. There we go. This is on basic move 1. When you help or hinder another character, you roll your links with them. If you get a 7+, they can take a +1 or a -2 forward. So arguably somebody could help Nixon with the negotiations of the job, and then you would get 3 things off that list.
May I?
You may roll
I
links.
know it's a little late in the proceedings
No,
to be
it's
doing
okay.
this.
New system. Again, I should have made it clearer, especially when you're on the cusp of taking it up to a different level of success.
And I don't take forward to this. Yes, just roll the links. It's not related to the edge.
Yep, just roll links.
Okay.
7.
There's your 8.
Yep. So that takes it up to a 10. So you can pick 3 off
Okay.
the get job list, which frees
Well,
things
then.
up a bubble.
I want it to pay well, provide useful information, and the meeting does not attract attention.
Okay, I'm just going to make notes of this. Pay well, useful information, and does not attract attention. To reflect that, as you go about your discussion, the girl swimming around in the aquarium, as it were, is paying no attention to your group as you have this discussion.
Is that the
sort of-
shark-looking one?
It is the sharp-looking one, yeah. Sharp teeth,
Good now.
gills.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. General policy, unless stated otherwise, every NPC in my world tends to be hot, just because of who I am as a person. It's through the filter of Jade, ergo hotness pervades. Okay, what I'll get you to do, Nixon, is under intel on your character sheet. If you just put +1, +1 intel. The way intel and gear work in the sprawl is it's an abstract thing. You have a piece of information and you can use that at any time. and it can be whatever you need it to be in the moment. It's like a way of taking narrative control. Like you could be in a situation, you'd be like, and things could look really bad, just like, I've got the plans for this building and I can get us out this way. And you spend your intel to do it. Gear
Okay.
works the same way. It could be like, I pull out my gas powered grappling hook.
Where do you get these wonderful toys?
Where do you get these wonderful toys? Indeed. Um, okay, so the meeting goes on like this, and I tell you what, let's take a quick 2-minute break, and then I can go on with the rest of the information, and then we can move on from there.
Cool.
So 2
Your
minutes.
look is fucking amazing, by the way, Jade.
Thank you. But yeah, by all means, buy a break, everybody who needs one. I will also be taking one because I'm trying to stay hydrated. So I'll be right
This
back.
episode of Natural Ruckus is brought to you by Vad's Grown Meat, providing you the finest in vat grown meats since 3410.
Hello, stream. God damn it. Ugh. King's overrated. You don't need to go ever. Ever. Oh, look at that. Our amazingly looking DM is back. I think you're muted.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody who's joining us in chat today. I hope you're enjoying this change of pace for Natural Ruckus. I
Sure.
I'm marginally terrified. The nerves are sort of settled in. It's
Doing
good.
great.
Thank you. Credit to we didn't create the overlay. We bought it from. Where did we buy it from?
A place, I think.
If anyone's interested, we'll try and get the information on that. But Tom obviously put the overlay together. So
There are a lot of things there.
chat, you are lovely. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. So, diary, isn't it hot with the scarf in there?
I told you. Got the fan working.
Is that enough?
The fan is so powerful.
It's like right in front of me on the table and it's blowing air right at me.
Yes.
Longingly
really is
looks
that
at
powerful.
his
I
own
haven't-
fan back there. Blow harder.
I'm just groupies. That's what groupies are for. Shoo.
Ja, all good?
Yeah. I suppose would this be a good time to, I mean, obviously not right now because everyone's not back yet, but would this be a good time to use my storage move?
We'll do that once we get into the legwork phase. But yes,
Okay, cool.
It'll be sort of after this meeting wraps. Hollow can then activate that move for sure.
Cool. What do I? It says wait. Mind. I'm good at that.
Excuse me. Seriously, somebody needs to cast me as like the offbeat scientist in something because I'm just here. I'm waiting. I'm ready.
You know,
Let's
you
get
look
going.
like a more cyberpunk '80s version of what was her name?
If you say Holtzman and Ghostbusters, I might propose marriage.
I wish I had thought of that. No,
No marriage for you. Sorry.
we already got married in D&D.
We did get married in D&D that time.
Yeah.
And as we all know, D&D marriage is the most lawfully binding and legally binding marriage.
Shigo.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
From
My
Kim
turn
Possible.
Yep.
It's the green.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Shigo.
So am I the Draken, or?
You wish. I think you're more competent than that.
Eh.
Okay, so you successfully negotiate the terms of the job, and over the course of some drinks, Mixardel gives you the name of the target, Nika Simbatre. She is a mid-level executive at the Navis Group who lives and works in a corporate arcology. Now, I had to look up what the fuck an arcology is because I did not know. Yeah, that's basically correct. Where did I actually put my note on what an arcology is? There it is. The dictionary definition, it's an integrated city contained within a massive vertical structure. It sort of allows for the maximum amount of control. And the Navis Group has one of these in the very posh area of the city. And it's sort of like, it doesn't even have like ground level. It exists over the, not the top strata, which is Asteri, but the next two down, Cerro and Altus. And it's like, I can't do distance or measurements, but it's like the size of a city block. This arcology. Yes, I will put the spelling of the name in the chat for everybody because I
Thank
was very much on my
y'all.
bullshit when I named this. But Nika Simbatre. There we go.
I got
she
the
only
first one right.
Hey, what Mix Ardell is able to tell you is that Simbatre only leaves the arcology to travel, but it's actually a fairly frequent thing with her, usually by corporate flyer from the Verity City interplanetary port. And whenever she leaves the arcology, she has a small security detail with her. She does not travel alone. And that is the information that you are given. Once Mixardell has delivered the information to you all, they collect their data pad, get up from the table, give you all a little nod, and exits the restaurant along with the two individuals that Nixon you noted earlier. Get up and follow them out. So, I'm checking something about that assess move. Because we're going to be moving to a new scene, those two hold, because you'll be in a different situation, they don't carry over because it's specific to that instance. But that's cool. All right, so you guys are welcome to RP a little bit for post that conversation, or we can move on to what is known as the legwork phase of the mission, which is obviously you aren't ready to do the actual let's call it the extraction. I mean, you could do it without any legwork, but I mean that's going to be interesting for me. I'm happy to try and run it that way if you like, but normally I suggest a legwork phase ahead of time. But that's entirely up to you. If you guys want to hop straight into the legwork phase, we can do that.
Hmm.
Entirely up to you players. I am here to enable. It's what I do.
I mean, that's probably what Nixon would be inclined to do, is just get busy working.
And nobody wants any of my nuts, so we might as well get to work.
Mhm.
Do you want some of this bourbon here?
Sure. Oh, that's terrible. Oh. Oh.
That's
Oh, Fibonacci is very good.
Mr. Frost, do you always drink before a job?
and during and after.
You drank too, Alec.
Yes, but I'm not the one with the car.
It's got autopilot. I'm not that worried.
I could drive if you don't feel safe.
No, this is Mr. Frost's routine. I would not presume to break it.
Alex always so considerate.
A few as this winds down and people sort of filter off to do their own things, you guys have all got readily available means of keeping in contact with each other. You're an established network within yourselves. So as we enter the legwork phase, I know Harlow, you have a move that activates at the beginning of the legwork phase, your storage move. If anybody else, if you want to check your playbook, if you have anything specific that you need to roll, please do so, and let me know what you're doing. It'll be clearly stated where, because I checked everybody's character sheets, I just can't remember everything on everybody's character sheets.
Should I go ahead and roll, Jade?
Can you explain what the move is?
Right, so the storage move is as per the description, after receiving a job, you may look through your accumulated parts and supplies for equipment that might help with the current mission. Basically, depending on how well I roll, I will get either 1 gear or 3 gear. So that then throughout the mission, if say we need a specific tool, I can just whip out a gear and say, "Hey, I got that tool." So let's see how well I do.
Give me that mind roll.
0 forward.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh!
Damn.
That's an 11.
That's
So
12.
12.
this, I Shrog knows this because he's played this game with me before. I am really bad at reading the fucking rolls the way they are laid out. This is a very beautiful sheet that somebody did a really good job of formatting, and my brain just can't math. I'm too queer.
Well, it sucks it doesn't give you an auto total.
No, it does not.
Yeah.
But no, as I was just corrected, that is a 12. So if you want to add 3 gear to your character sheet, Harlow had the stuff.
Got my shit.
Got your shit together.
Okay, so I have a move we should have rolled at the beginning.
Okay.
It's called It All Fits Together.
Ah.
You're a master. Yeah.
Please. Yeah, if you want to read it out and then give me the roll.
It all fits together. You're a master of making connections between seemingly unrelated events. At the start of the mission, roll edge. If I roll 10 plus, I gain 3 hold. If I roll a 7 to 9, I gain a hold. As I put everything together during the mission, spend 1 hold at any time to ask a question from the research list.
God, the Hunt is a good playbook. Yep. My bad. Again, first mission, first time playing the system. I should have let you roll that before.
I'm playing the class. I should have said something before now.
Yeah.
Well, does the mission start now?
I mean, arguably the mission is the whole thing. You could say that this is it now. In which case, we could just because I like the thought that I like the thought that on the way to trying to get the job, the hunter can start putting shit together even then, because of the way the class is written. So, in which case, you might be able to utilize that in your getting the job. So, going forward, I'll say that you can roll that before, even if it means not that. But yeah, give me that roll. Nope.
Woof.
God, that was fucking terrible.
Yep. That is a miss. That is the way. Hey, you were due. It's always good, and misses are interesting. We're the way powered by the apocalypse systems work. If you get a 10 plus, total success. Great, happy days. 7 to 9 is what we call a mixed success. You get what you want. There are consequences, or in the case of some of the playbook moves, like you're going to get a little bit, stuff like that. On a miss, it means I, as the master of ceremonies, get to make a move against you, which I will at some point.
Oh god.
Yeah, when the GM says interesting, what they really mean
It's just like
is you're
ominous laughter.
Yeah.
So, but basically the way it's written is I can make a move as hard as I want, which is a really ominous way of phrasing it, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all good. Does anybody else have any moves that kick off now?
Nope.
Okay.
Because this does not further my vision.
Mm-hmm. All right then. So this is the legwork phase. Basically, the way the sprawl works is it's very much like mission-based gameplay. So you guys can work in pairs or individually or as a group to decide what you want to do now, in order to go ahead and actually kidnap this person. If you have a look at the basic moves that you can do, you can research, you can hit the street, you could go talk to some people. You have the name of this individual. That's a start. You know where they live and work. That's all you've got. So, how you go about getting information is entirely up to you. If you a character would do, I can make a suggestion of what role that might be. You've all got contacts already established, but there is also the optional move of declare a contact, which you can do once a mission, which it might be the case that whoever you've got on your character sheet is great, but is no help to you right now. And you declaring a contact, you can come up with somebody that works for the Navis group, or knows something about city planning, or works at the spaceport. And then we just develop a little bit who that character is, and then you would do hit the street and see how they can help you. Air.
Can I research the transportation provider? The one that takes
Target.
the target, Nika.
It's a
places.
corporate flyer. That was in the pack. The information that you were given. So, like, Navis have their own vehicles. They operate out of the spaceport. It's just like they have a private jet. It's just because of how dense Verity City is, interplanetary travel or travel out of the city has to go via the spaceport. Well, legal travel has to go out of the spaceport because air traffic is just so dense around with like satellites and everything that's like in the atmosphere. You're a liability. So only criminals try to leave through means other than the spaceport.
Then
And these are legitimate business folk.
Then probably research a spaceport and find out which one is for schedule. I could do that.
Sure. Is that right? The move is written, unless you have something that allows you to do it differently. Research. When you investigate a person, place, object, or service using a library, dossier, or database, or combination of them, you ask a question from the list below and roll mind. If you wanted to research that, or if you wanted to say you know somebody that works there and they can tell you about it, we can do that instead. Because I don't know how mindful air is.
Then let's wait with that. Oh.
You wanna think about it a sec?
Yeah. I also want to check
Okay.
other.
Moves. Okay. Does anybody else know what they want to be doing right now?
I kind of need more information about our approach here. For instance, we know that our target leaves the tower with a security detail and only when they travel. Do we want to try to get them when they are traveling, or do we want to get them in the tower proper? Also, I'm guessing a plan that includes, and now we fight is fine with you guys?
I would suggest trying to get them while they're traveling because there's no fucking way we're
Indeed.
going to survive trying to assault an arcology.
Yep.
So getting them while they're in mixed public, probably the closest to easy we're going to get. And yeah, I'm down with a fight.
I would prefer to avoid it if possible, but
Okay.
it would not be the end of the world.
Well, then one thing to research right off the bat would be, can I hack in and find out when the target's next travel plans are?
Oh, interesting. Okay. Where are my notes? Where are my sheets on how the fucking packing system works? Because Sarah went and picked the playbook that requires the most work. It's very good.
Wow.
No, it's good. I love the hacker. It's just the hacking mechanics of the sprawl are a whole beautiful, wonderfully written thing that I am terrified of.
Got a better grip on it than I did, but I wouldn't say I'm competent.
It's fine. You'll as long as one of us knows, we'll do great. Okay. You've got access in Roll20 to see the Matrix stuff, right?
I surely do.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Papers.
Seriously, so
More
many pieces of paper, you guys. My desk
paper.
covered in it. Right. So, rather than this being I'm trying to think whether this should be pure hacking first, or you are effectively doing research, and then hacking is a part of that.
Well,
I
if
am
I
having
had
a
to
look.
get into the system and they didn't want me in there, then we'd have to do a login check probably first to make sure I could get in. Then I might
Yes.
have to deal with any security if there was going to be any, and then maybe research before I check.
Okay. Then what we'll say what you're doing then is we'll do the hacking part, and then once you're in, you can roll research while you're in the database, as it were.
Cool.
Okay. So what does this look like? What does Fibonacci hacking look like? Paint me a picture. Like where does she live? What does her setup look like?
I
Like
imagine I have a very chaotic loft that has just like a weird collection of stuff that doesn't really go with each other, but like this is the softest plushie and these are the best shiniest shoes, and over here I have my workshop with all of the cool stuff all over the place. And probably most of my little bitty loft apartment is my workshop. I do have my bunker, which is a fridge I can just squeeze into, missile proof, god damn it. And for hacking, I have like a papasan chair, one of those big wicker things with a big cushion in the middle, where I can curl up with my deck and literally jack in and be very comfortable. I like to have a smoothie or a coffee, and just really be able to focus. Maybe lined up next to the window so I can watch the rain.
mm-hmm. I dig it. All right. And let me close that and close that and look at that. Now we've talked a little bit about this, you and I, Sarah, particularly. The way that what the sprawl cortex refers to as the Matrix, and I don't know if the sprawl was written before the Matrix came out or whether it's very deliberately a nod to the movies. Yay for the Wachowskis, trans pride, yo. But for us, in this world, we refer to it as the weave. And the weave is like an ocean. Plenty of people are happy splashing around in the shallows in the same way that most of us maybe we swim at the beach if we're even so inclined to do that. For most people, everything they want to do online, they can do in the shallows. There is still a lot of fucking ocean out there, and so is the weave. The weave is full of information, of activities, of ways to lose yourself in more ways than one. And there are monsters in there. And there are parts of it that are incredibly deep and incredibly scary, and only the bravest or stupidest hackers dare to go. And we have Fibonacci, a unique entity unto herself. Let's do some hacking. So, you right now want to hack into something controlled by the Navis Group, the people that develop software. That's their whole bag. I adore you. You are the best. So you've got your cyber deck out. I imagine this when people you can do like old school, like hackers, like at a computer in front of a screen style hacking. I like to think that by this point in technology, people can still do it the old school way, but there is also options to literally do like full on matrix style plug-in. Any people each have their own ways, and all hackers have different ways that they like to do it. We've talked a little bit about what Fibonacci's place is like. Is she tapping away at a computer? Is this a pulling a jack out of one arm and plugging in? Do you have something behind one ear that you pull out and connect to a machine? What
Yeah,
is this
this
like?
is a literal jackport. It's covered by my hair, which is part of why my hair is always so messy. But I literally have an open port in the back of my head, and I will pull out my cable and pop it in, and then I imagine that I am mostly fairly still. Rather than doing a keyboard input, I'd like to, if I can, fully immerse in the AR and be the
Yep.
manifestation of myself interacting with the Matrix on that level, or the Weave.
Perfect. When you appear in the weave, do you have an avatar that looks like you? Are you like a golden ratio swirling through the ether? Like, what does Fibonacci look like in the weave?
That's a good question. I have probably an avatar that comes from my Lasardo days that would be recognizable when I'm using my ret move, but I don't think I use that all the time. I like an abstract kind of spiral
Mm-hmm.
motif as my avatar if I can. My deck is
Absolutely.
called Gold Rule.
Okay. So we're about to do some hacking, folks. Um, all right. Give me that opening synth move to log in.
Ouch.
Okay. On a 6 minus, it's good. Failure is interesting. Good things come of this. On a 10 plus, Fibonacci would have gotten in clean, no issues. If it had been a 7 to 9, Sarah would have got to pick one of these. Because it was a miss on the roll, I get to pick two of these. There is a passive trace on Fibonacci. Ice is activated, and ice is a fun thing. I say fun. It's like counter routines, ways to stop you. I have lost the one piece of paper that has the more details about ice, but I will find it later. An alert is triggered. Alternatively, your access is restricted. Take -1 ongoing to matrix moves in this system while your access is restricted. What's important is that you get in, and you, as an accomplished hacker, would know. I'm not sure what programs you chose. I'm going to quickly roll down into your character sheet and have
I've
a
got
look.
sift, manipulate, and efficiency routines. Efficiency routines isn't loaded, so I've just got sift and manipulate right now. Also, I do have a move called Console Cowboy that when I do connect to a cure system, so if I did get connected, I'll get to roll
Mm-hmm.
mind, which could
Yeah.
give me hold that'll negate alerts and ISIS.
Yeah, no, give me, I forgot that you had console cowboy. If you want to give me that mind roll, and we can generate that hold for you. Okay, on that you got a 10, which is great. You have 3 hold. Okay. So what else? Right. So with that, you can use your hold to prevent a construct from triggering an alert. You can avoid an ICE routine executed against you, your deck, or your program, or you can increase your hold over compromised security. I'm going to say that the consequences for that botched entry were an alert is triggered, and hmm, your access is restricted. Take -1 ongoing. Day nasty. Um, you can burn one of your hold to cancel that alert.
I would like to.
Okay, done and done. The alert is gone. How does that look? What is it? Fibonacci's there, and this alert kicks off, and in the weave, it's like this awareness that this alarm is going off.
Hmm. That's an interesting question.
Because you said for her, when she's in there, it's a fully immersive experience, and obviously the actual body is like still, but if it's this fully ability to manipulate the surroundings, like Minority Report style, with like the data coming in.
Okay. In this case, then I would like to. I'm kind of this golden spiral animation. I would like to, for a second, pulse into the kind of up and down you get when there is audio, and then snap myself flat and kill the alert, and then go back to being a spiral.
I love that. That's awesome. Very cool. All right, so you've cancelled the alert. You're into the grid, and you're trying to get more details on the security detail, right? That was what you said you were going in there for.
I need specifically when their next travel plans are. If I've still got the time and resources to learn more about the security detail while I'm in here, that's great. But mostly, I just need that date.
Okay. Um. Well, it sounds like you're going to be need to getting into a database more than anything else. Looking at all of these, I need to go over these things. Rather than it being a security system that you're trying to compromise. Um, no, I'd say you're trying to get into a database. So give me a compromised security role. I'm not sure what your two programs allow you to do. The shift and the manipulate, the sift, sorry, and the manipulate. Let me pull open.
All right. Sift. Take +1 on going to research or search for pay data in a secure database. So that seems like it would apply here.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to take +1 on going to research, but I assume I'm researching.
Yeah. Yep. That will basically mean when you do a roll and you get that pop up for forward, you'll be able to put 1 in that for when you do the research. And what does the manipulate let you do?
Let's see. Manipulate. When I successfully manipulate systems, hold +1. So if I were to actually use the system to change anything in the world,
Gotcha.
or I guess in the system.
All right. Let's give me that compromise security roll to get into this the database to look at these travel plans.
All right.
So that's a mind roll. 6, 8. Okay, you've got 1 hold. So you're able to sort of get yourself into that database without you would have had -1 ongoing because of the restricted access, but that you still would have had a 7. So you're good. You've got your hold, and you are in the database. So if you want to give me that research roll, that mind roll with the +1 that you get from Sift.
Do I put that +1 in the little forward box?
Yes, you do.
8.
5,
Right?
8. Okay. So your question, okay, on an 8 on a research roll, you get to take intel. So add that to your character sheet. 1 intel. There's just like a row for it. Again, that spendable resource that we talked about. And the question that you wanted answered is, when is she next traveling again?
Yes.
Okay. You're able to get the exact, because time is weird and timey-wimey. She's next due to travel in 3 days. And you've got the time of you've got like the fucking flight details, you've got the flight itinerary. The destination has been redacted, so you don't know where she's going. But you can see when she's due to leave the arcology. That even that has been scheduled, and the time that the flyer is due to leave the airport. You can see they've left just enough time for the journey. And you know what traffic's like in Verity City. Like, that is close. But clearly, then not looking to dawdle out in the outside world longer than they have to. So clearly, they either aren't expecting to run into trouble or they know how to keep a tight schedule. And she will be, aside from the security detail, traveling alone. And the pencil's on the floor again. You've got that one hold, which you could use to. I suppose that would have done the same thing. Okay. Anything else while you're pootling around inside this database? Because you got that one hold where you managed to get in. I'd be inclined to let you ask another question and roll research again while you're in there, because you did a good job. You did a good job.
Any other questions for the Navis databases, guys?
Like, while
Otherwise,
you're in the, this has got employment details. This has got stuff on the arcology that's arguably in a different database. Specifically, like, you couldn't get access to see like the security systems within the arcology. You're in the wrong part of the system for that. But you're definitely in sort of like personnel related stuff. So you've got that information about the travel. But you and we've got Air and Alec with hands up. Go, Air. You may be muted. You're possibly muted.
Fuck the crew of
I
the
don't want to.
of the plane.
Of the plane or the security detail? What is it
Plane.
you wanted to know? The plane that she's going to be on.
Yeah,
You want to know that?
the crew. Yeah, I would say.
And Alec?
Same question, actually. Who's flying the plane?
Sorry.
okay.
If
Then,
I'm gay and you're gay, who's flying the plane?
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Uh-huh. All right. Give me another research roll, plus. So another mind roll with that +1 forward. That, because that's ongoing. You'll always have that +1 when you're rolling research if you're in a database, or if it's when you're hacking.
Nice.
Beautiful. Okay. So wait, maths 10. There
That's
we
a
go.
10. Yeah.
Thank you. I do genuinely appreciate it, even if I sound snarky as fuck. Okay.
Valid.
Don't give me too much credit. Okay, so you can up the intel on your character sheet to 2. I will answer your question, and you get to pick on the basics moves 1 sheet. There's a list of questions under research. You get one of those as well as the answer to your question. And in answer to your question, the it's just a single pilot. It's I think you're able to go that this isn't somebody with a massively long distance license. Like, this is somebody that can fly small plane. Effectively, for an analogy, this is somebody that can do like very small aircraft up to a certain size limit. They couldn't fly like a jumbo jet, kind of a vibe. Like, so this is somebody that's specialized in also in and is a Navis Group employee. Isn't an outside contractor that they work with. It's literally somebody who it works for Navis, who is hired as a pilot to fly their corporate planes or their corporate flyers. I will give you a name in just a moment. Oh my god, I've just realized, because everything is shown to size, you guys have been DMing me and I did not see it. I'm just going to quickly check that there is nothing there. Nari, I'll tackle those questions in a bit.
Yeah.
They're all
It's
valid questions. I'm very sorry I did not see them until now. I will. Yeah, what I will say, generally speaking, is you may be better off DMing me within Zoom because I will see that pop up. You can privately DM me because I have to have Do Not Disturb on, and where I have my screens laid out, I will not see the alert come up on my DMs. I should have said that from the jump. That's on me. First time GMing, except for the one shot at, the charity stream last year.
Oh my god, that was last year.
Yeah, I know. I know. This is where my internet connection goes to pot because I'm trying to use a name generator. That's what they're for, guys. Use Don John. It's one of the best name generators I've encountered. Sci-fi name generator. Da-da-da. Come on. I bigged you up to all the 5 people watching the live stream. Come on, Don John.
There's just all of them are there now, and it's not handling it. It's too many
Apparently
people.
not. Okay. Good God. While we finish this, Reed Bancroft is the name of this pilot. Looks to be in her late 20s. White lady. Brown hair. There's like a staff ID photo in there. So very sort of nondescript looking. And yeah. What of the additional questions did you want to ask me, Fibonacci?
You know what?
Mhm.
Where would I find Reed Bancroft?
Oh.
Oh no.
No, I think you're able to get an address. So she does not live in the arcology because she is not that kind of high up in the company. So yeah, you are able, because you're in the exact right part of the database to do so. It's incredibly easy. She is has a small apartment down in Sin Zoom, which is not the lowest strata. It's like the next one up, and it's sort of like where a lot of the population in Verity City is concentrated. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to take all you guys over to the map, the very bad map that I drew that time.
Time for me to
So-
change the layout one.
No, you should be okay.
No, I
It
have to
still
crop
takes-
it.
Or zoom out. Yeah, okay. You can see there's that key over on the top right. And yeah, Zoom is that massive gray section. That is like where most residential is in the city. It's not to say that people don't live in other places. It's just like that is where it's very focused. Whereas the arcology, Navis Group's arcology is in Kit, which is that light blue section top. Kit's got the nice ocean views, all of the expensive stuff is in Kit. So, but yeah. So yeah, you have a name and address of the pilot of the corporate flyer. If there is anything else you want to do while you're lurking in a database?
I think that calls it for now.
Okay, then give me the jack out. Jack out. Anyone.
Super good at this part.
Yeah. When your programs, or your deck are about to be damaged by ice, you can try to jack out. I'm actually trying to work. Jack out! Dirty boy. Stop it.
Still a 9.
Still a 9. You jack up, but you choose one. You lose some data. You take some of the established consequences, or the owners of the target system trace you to your current location.
Oh no. Could you tell me these horrible alternatives one more time?
You lose some data, is one of the options. Now, that could be part of the information that you've collected. It could be part of yourself because you project your consciousness out of your body to go play around in the internet. So that data could be part of you.
Like we do every day.
The owners of the target system trace you to your current location. Alternatively, you take some of the established consequences. The established consequences in this case are going to be that you aren't identified, but Navis Group knows that somebody was in there. So it's not identifiable that there was a hacker poking around in their database, but they know somebody did.
That's all
and
right. We
what
can
they
leave
were looking at it.
Yeah, we can leave a fingerprint here on this giant employee database. I figured that's vague enough not to tip us off.
Okay. You successfully get out and you've got that information. You know the when and sort of the where of the exit of the next journey that Simbatra is going to be on, and you know the name and address of the pilot who is going to be flying the corporate flyer.
Cool. I'll make sure I get that information to everybody else.
Okay. Does anybody know what they wish to be doing during the legwork phase?
Do we pay her a visit?
Why don't you leave that to me?
You. Really?
I don't think your style is what we're looking for here.
I don't think your bullshit is what we're looking for here.
I'm sorry, did you want them to know that their pilot was murdered?
No, I would like for this job to get all the money. So I'm
Wait,
coming
we're
with
murdering
you.
the pilot?
That's what I'm trying to avoid at the moment.
Yeah, I like that. Could we maybe not kill the pilot?
Who said I was going to murder anyone?
Alec did.
What else do
Alec
you ever
didn't say.
do?
Wow. That's sumptuous.
Accurate.
My apologies. What do you ever suggest as your alternative?
Maybe let
When
me
else
come
would
with
you
you.
volunteer?
Maybe let me come with you. You'll see what. Last job we did together was so wonderful.
Oh, that was a much different goal.
Yes.
So I have an idea of how to get this person on our side.
Okay.
I think I can use my contact.
Okay. Explain it through. So for the viewers at home, like, because I, Jade, have an
Okay.
idea of what you're doing, but
So my contact is Flamingo Jones, the current premier commentator for Major League Robo Derby. After the last one, you know,
Disappear.
had an early retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if I can pull the right strings, maybe I can end up with Miss Bancroft with a good view of a match together.
Okay. Okay. When you go to a, sounds like you're hitting the street.
Yes.
When you go to a contact for help, roll style.
Okay.
So
And just to reiterate information, we have how long before the travel? A few days? 3 days. Okay, that's
Yep.
what I thought. That's workable.
Okay. I tell you what, give me the roll first, so I know how this is going to go,
Yeah.
and then we can play it out.
9.
9. Okay, I'm gonna just drop everybody back to the home screen. Sorry, Tom.
Okay.
Brace yourself.
What home screen? God damn.
That's what I told you. Okay. So on an 8, you get to choose from the list below. Your request is going to cost you extra. Your request is going to take some time to put together. Your request is going to attract unwanted attention, complications, or consequences, or your contact needs you to help them out with something. If you turn them down, take -1 ongoing to this move until you make it right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I might at this point. Uh, because I think the consequences here choosing 2 are going to be more than I'm willing to go for at this point.
Okay.
Because this was a long shot to do anything useful anyway.
Okay.
So I am going to say that Flamingo Jones would need my help with something and take too much time. So I'm going to politely withdraw my request.
Okay. All right. I'll make a note of that. We don't have to sing that out
Yeah.
if you don't want to. So.
Although, if I'm declaring that he would need something from me,
Yeah.
could that be something we like bank for a future plot point?
So he's not going to ask you to do the thing unless he's doing something for you actively. It would
Okay.
be another roll at another time.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, what is? But
All right.
you give him a ring, talk to him, and he just sort of like is like, well, yeah, but like, there's not a good match. I could get you something for next week, is what it boils down to in the end, and
Nice.
that's
Well,
outside of your time frame.
yes.
So.
Air, I'm going to regret this.
Oh.
Why don't you show me your way?
Oh.
Prove me wrong.
Our illustrious DM. Which one of us looks the most as the pilot?
Between you and Alec?
Between all of us, the whole group.
Harlow or Alec?
I've made it known that Harlow does a lot of work pretending to be a mechanic or something useful with her skills.
Okay. The group would absolutely know that. So
What was the question about the group? I sat down while he was asking.
it's okay. Air was asking who in the group could pass for the pilot easiest.
It's definitely Nixon.
But yeah, it could like it's a brown-haired white girl. So Harlow or Alec could both, in theory, do it. Depending on what you need this person to do, might determine what choice you make next. I don't know who's a better liar, for example, but Harlow looks to be volunteering for the job.
Harry.
Oh, it's more of a Harlow thing.
Mhm.
If you're, are you bringing this to the table Or is it just something you're thinking about right now? Like, is it clear you're wondering who's?
Well, if I get that you or Alec look the most like this person, then I'm going to bring you in.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you doing at this point? You have Harlow with you. Is Alec involved in this too, or is
Yep.
this just you and Harlow? Okay, so the three of you. I was about to say four because I was counting myself. I will be there, but in a very abstract, universal sense. So, right, what are you doing here? What's the
So,
plan?
we either go there, be very persuasive, and get her on our side, or go there, make sure that she's tied up with other things to do, and pose as her. In which case, either one of you comes into play. You both look like that was Victor. Or similar enough. We make a little play. Either the rest of us is already in the plane, or we get a blacklisted some kind of place where we can park after departing, and a little surprise party for.
I mean, if getting her alone is gonna be too hard, then maybe we can. You get me close to that plane. Maybe I can sabotage it, break it a little,
They
make
would
sure
have
it
to.
doesn't work.
They would have to then go
Take some time.
or take an emergency landing. It was already in air.
Sounds much easier to take over the plane than to sabotage it.
It does.
I mean, to make sure it doesn't even fly, so that we can then once
The
they're
point
taking their
is
time
to-
to. Mm.
No. Go.
When they're not flying, they're waiting for it to be fixed. That way we have an open window to go catch whomever we want to catch.
So,
As
as
an option.
opposed to taking the means of transportation and transporting the person we are meant to transport, you suggest destroying the means of transportation so that we then
Temporarily.
use a different means of transportation to transport the person we are supposed to transport.
In an emergency.
I will say, because David isn't here to voice this, your group, as well as having access to Nixon's nondescript sedan, you have Pixie and her vehicle at your disposal.
You mean the tank?
No. It looks like a cargo truck.
Oh, my apologies.
What I mean is, you have access to something. You also, in theory, have access to somebody who is very good at piloting and flying shit.
Yep.
So, a
Uh,
thing to bear in mind. You know that you have access to Pixie and Pixie's resources. Even if David isn't here next time, I will Jaeger
could
Pixie.
could we get an information from the person who gave us the job, Nico? Ni-
Nick is the target. Mix Ardell
uh,
was the contact.
from Mix, like some kind of a hangar or something where we could in.
They are not giving you information until you have the target.
Jade,
Hollow.
it's at this point where I might need those questions that I sent you possibly answered, because I want to know if I can have that come into play here.
Un momento, por favor.
Does Does any of us have some kind of a contact that could provide us with a hanger?
Pending.
You, yeah, that's what.
No.
Ah. Okay.
Is the plan so far to try to replace the pilot and jack the vehicle once the
Yep.
target is inside?
So much jacking.
Get used to it, baby.
I think the answer there was yes.
Specifically, I don't think Declan's skill set. He could, in theory, find you that.
My thought
Not
would be
necessarily.
if I were to give him the name, which is
Of the pilot or the
Mika
target. Yeah,
Mika
Stimbare.
Simbartre. Yeah, if I were to give him that name, I would want to see if he can find any listed planes or hangars or like general like any kind of authority or what is listed in her name as an occupation as the pilot, so that we can then use that to track what plane or what hangar she flies out of.
Um, I think maybe he could do that. I think there are possibly simpler ways of doing that. Like, if you think about how Verity City is a very densely populated place, there's not a lot of space.
Mhm.
If there are hangars specifically, it's more likely, like, you know, those really cool car parking lots where you can park your car in and they rotate like that.
Yeah.
Like the
Uh,
ones that terrify the crap out of me because I'm like, what if your arm got stuck in there? Like the things that give me nightmares. Imagine that, but big enough for planes and small spacecraft. Like, you would know as somebody that is just a resident of Verity City that it's entirely possible that it's part of the like elite section of the spaceport. They have their own dedicated hangars
mm,
for their vehicles that they're kept docked in when they're
mhm.
not in use.
Okay.
I don't want to necessarily make you have to spend this resource otherwise.
Mm,
So yes, Declan could in theory find you information, but I don't think it's information that you wouldn't be able to, through general knowledge, know anyway.
okay. Is there a limit as to how many times we can use we can only use a contact once per job, right?
Arguably, yes, because
we
that's what Hit the
can
Street is for.
we can declare a contact one. I
Yeah,
think.
you can, which is the way of having a new contact.
Yeah.
Hit the Street is how you utilize the contact you already have.
Okay.
While this is going on, I'll just say, Nixon, if you have any ideas percolating, I'll come to you in a sec to see what you've been up to. Because I want everybody to get the whack at the stick. So,
Yeah.
what we currently have percolating, uh, Fibonacci brought it up. What is your current plan? Is it, do you want to talk to the pilot? Do you want to take out the pilot? Not necessarily in the permanent sense, but in the, so she is unable to do this specific job.
Yep.
I'd like to have a nice chat first.
Me
Talk.
too.
If she doesn't cooperate, then
Yes.
I would
Okay.
suggest going and catching the pilot at their house, which is not a corporate black site or a
Yes.
fucking statewide planetary hub of travel or anything like that. Knock them out, impersonate them, get smoothly into the plane or whatever, and then just have the plane land where we want it to land instead.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Mhm.
I'm trying to work out if that. I'd argue that sort of dealing with the pilot is still part of the legwork phase, rather because the mission
Mhm.
phase, as it were, the action phase is literally going to be the actively trying to extract Nika Simbatre.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go and take care of the pilot of Reed Bancroft, that's something you do as part of the legwork phase, because effectively it's prep for the main job,
Mm-hmm.
which Air, Harlow, and Alec seem to all be tied into. So Nixon, is there anything that you want to be doing for the legwork phase?
Well, I did my thing, and I crit fumbled it. So, like,
Mhm.
some bad's coming at me, and that's really all I had that was of use to the investigation.
Mhm.
My other traits and stuff are like chromed,
Mhm.
and I can use edge instead of mind when I'm doing research.
Yeah. You still have the option, like if you look at the basic moves, these are things that anybody can do at any time. You can hit the streets, which is you can go talk to your contact or declare a new one, just somebody that you decide now that Nixon knows that could have some information or have a skill that's useful to this. You can research in your own way, separate to what Fibonacci was doing. I know it's not really Nixon style, but you could go threaten somebody. You could go do recon at the spaceport and do assess. Like, just because your specific playbook move has been done, you can do any of the basic moves as part of this.
I guess I could go assess the hangar
Mhm.
that like the corporate plane and shit is stored in and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to assume that, God, what's their name? Simbarte.
Simbatre.
Simbarte just goes to the hangar and then the plane leaves from there. Is what I'm kind of assuming. So
Yeah, I think the information that Fibonacci would have got about the nature of the transit would be quite clear that it's there's not the details of the specific route, but because of the nature of her position and the power and sway that Navis has, this is not going to be a having to queue through customs like Joe Blogs. They can literally go from the arcology to the exact. They can literally cut straight from where they are to the gate.
yeah.
And but yeah, no, you can absolutely. So I'm just checking things appearing in chat because it's all good.
No, you're good. You're good. But yes, I think I would like to take a trip and go assess the hangar.
You want to take anybody with you?
Does anybody particularly want to go on a low key recon? Low key.
How low-key do I have to? If I don't have to do anything, I'd like to see. But if I might get in your way, like if we gotta be sneaky and stuff.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. Don't be obvious. You want to just look through my eyes?
Hey, yeah, can I do that? Cool.
Can I put somebody, because my shit is encrypted, is there like a whitelist? Can I like allow someone access to my devices, or is it just permanently encrypted and you have to like try to hack your way in?
Which one do you have? Is it inaccessible partition or encrypted?
No.
I have encrypted.
Then absolutely, you can give your hacker friend the key to unlock and step through.
Cool.
I put you on the whitelist.
I'll put on some Frosto vision.
Okay, so are you with Nixon in person, or are you like chilling out in like the spaceport cafe, like being one of those people in Starbucks, literally being a ride along right now?
Yes.
This is fantastic and perfect, and I adore it. You do not have to roll for any of this because it doesn't make sense that it would fuck up. Actually,
Alright.
Cool.
do give me a synth roll. Fibonacci.
Don't fuck
Just
my
a
eyes
straight
up.
synth roll.
Ah, 6.
7. No, 7.
Oh.
Wait.
Don't fuck
no,
my eyes
6.
up, bro.
6.
6. Okay.
Ah. Did I
No,
break
you're
his
fine.
eyes?
No.
Did you get it stuck in thermographic?
I
Well,
can
this
only
is
see in black and white.
useless.
I tell you what, you're in there, and it's a novel experience for you. And Nixon, you have the really fucking bizarre sensation of one of your eyes is just like off doing its own thing. I know he wears sunglasses, so this might not be too much, but you have the really distressing sensation of one of your eyes moving of its own accord every time Fibonacci sees something they think is interesting.
Stop that.
That.
Stop it. I'm gonna close the eye.
Fibonacci, you can still see out the other one, but you can't. You don't have like camera one, camera. You have control of camera one. You're just a passive observer on camera two. So, you had a thing, Hollow.
I was gonna suggest going with I can blend in. It'll be good to have a tech key, have a look see as well.
Sure. Yeah, I've got no problem with Harlow being there if Nixon
Nixon
if
doesn't.
Nixon's happy with it. You happy to have Harlow along? Yep. Okay. So
More the merrier.
Nixon and Harlow, you're making your way through the VC interplanetary spaceport. Nixon, one of your eyes keeps doing the thing, and it's like when you've had too much caffeine and you just can feel your eye twitching slightly, even underneath the shut lid. It's very strange.
All right. Well, hooray. I guess I roll assess now.
Yeah, give me that assess roll.
Can I help
And
with that?
yes, you may. Tell you what, give me that links roll first. And you should, if I roll down, yeah, if you roll the links button next to where you have Nixon's name, I think you have +1. So just
so next to the roll, is there supposed to be? It says 0 right now. Should I add 1 to them?
yes, you should have 1. If you've put somebody's name under your links, you should have 1 link with them.
Okay.
And then
roll.
Give me that roll.
No forward.
No forward.
Ooh, 10.
10. Sweet. That helped go. Help her to bit. Yep. So you can give Nixon that +1 forward. So give me that assess roll with a +1. God, even if they don't give a title, I really like how these sheets spit out results. So 3.
Well, that helped.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, just a fucking
success.
lot. I'm really tired of rolling low. Come on, dice.
Okay. So you have 1 hold. And you can use that now. If you want, considering that's kind of what you're doing, by all means, you can ask any of the questions from that assess list. And you can also do an assess roll or something similar if you have something you want to do here, Harlow. Something to have a look over the sheets while Nixon decides if he wants to ask me a question.
What do I notice despite efforts to conceal it?
There's a plane in here.
I think there's a secondary set of security checks within. There's the obvious kind. There's like card swipe and like a retinal scan to get in. I think what you notice is a DNA scanner. And it is very well built in. This is designed to catch people that everyone think, oh, well, yeah, obviously you're going to need a key card. And obviously you're going to need a way to beat the retinal scanner. This has purposely been built in. And this is literally only around the highest level of, this is the sort of area of the pelt that you can't just stroll into, because obviously it's controlled by the very highest up of people. But you're able to detect or figure out that system is in place. So that's what you get.
I will inform everyone that we have a new hiccup, and we're going to have to be able to pass the DNA test to fake a pilot.
Maybe not. How does bypass work again?
Read the move to me, because I don't have all the playbooks to hand.
Subarm with implant tools is what I'm looking at. It just says that when I have time and space to interface with a device I'm attempting to fix, bypass, or tamper with, and then it gives me a bunch of shit. Bypass is bolded, so I don't know what that means.
I think it means it's a separate move.
What does that mean?
As in, it's a move in and of itself. Normally, when they're bolded, that means it's possibly an optional move you could have taken as the tech. If you look at the rest of the playbook moves, is one of them called bypass.
Bypass. When you attempt to subvert
Ah.
security measures, bypassing a locked door, disabling an alarm camera, or motion detector, etc., roll cool.
There you go. That's what bypass
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Bippus.
So, all right.
Nippus.
So my thought is, would I be able to not exactly tamper or mess with the lock itself, but study it so that I can know if there is a way to tamper with it to be able to add certain biometrics into the thing.
I tell you what, you could spend one of your gear to have a means of doing an in-depth scan.
Yes, please. I would like to do that. I would like to.
Okay, so reduce your number of gear available to 2.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Could
However,
we?
you have the means to do this. So what I want you to do is you have the tool. You have a piece of equipment that will enable you to sort of passively interface with technology, and you can get like a read on what it is. If something had like an inaccessible partition on it, you might have to do something more actively, or you'd need like Fibonacci's help to try and
Mhm.
crack that. So um so what I want you to do is, because you're going to try, and let me be clear, you have to get your device to it's like that mode where you put the 2 phones together to pass data.
Mhm.
You do need physical contact. So what I need you to do for me, Harlow, is to roll act under pressure, which is rolling cool.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
would that work well with my blend in, or would that have to happen after if I were to fail this, for instance?
Mm.
Then
What
could
is
I
what is the
blend
wording
in?
on blend in?
When you're about to be caught somewhere you shouldn't be, but look and act like you belong there, roll cool. So
I,
maybe if this fails, I can roll that.
I'm just reading what Fibonacci has put in our Discord chat. Very practical, Fibonacci. I feel like Air would approve. But yes, Nari, if things go to shit as a result of this roll, absolutely blend in could be something you can utilize this. Assuming you talked to Nixon and Fibonacci about what you're about to do, one of you two are able to help with
I
this.
don't know if it's gonna help.
I
I
don't
got
know.
a 5.
Oh, you've already rolled it. I think I need no. Both of them can help.
Oh, so I can get +2 on that if they
both
succeed.
if they successfully roll.
Okay.
What do I roll?
I roll links
Uh,
with Harlow.
Roll links with Harlow. Let's see.
Ah.
That's nope.
Sorry, buddy.
Do I have a link because they went on a job with me, or do I
Yeah.
have to have gone on one of theirs to
You
have
have
the
to
link?
have gone on a job with her to
I
have
don't
a
have
link.
a link
Okay.
with Harlow.
So for you, it would
Oh.
just be a flat 2d6 roll.
Okay.
But because Fibonacci failed the roll, it would only, even if you were successful, it would only bring Harlow up to a 6, which is still a fail.
Yep.
So, okay, let
So
me
yeah,
just
I'm
make.
gonna blend in. If
Oh,
that's gonna.
oh wait, just wait.
Oh wait, yeah, this was terrible.
Okay. What happens here? I think you get up close. You and I think you've done this before. This is it's like a little sleight of hand trick. You like palm the device, and you walk along, and you go to rest your palm against part of the system that Nixon pointed out to you. And the moment you do, a klaxon starts blaring. And I mean, like, there is a red light kind of flashing and a klaxon going. Security have been notified that somebody is trying to interfere with the defense mechanisms of the spaceport.
Nixon's
What
eye
do
is
you
going
do?
crazy.
Just the lid. It's just like Yeah, like it's actually moving so much, Nixon. You can hear the cybernetics whirring inside your head. It's moving that fast.
Like that.
So
Enjoy your migraine.
I have a request.
Yes.
Would I be able to mix my blend in move with also spending 1 gear to be able to use something to help myself blend in?
Hmm. Yes. What can you quickly? Sorry, can you give me the wording on blend in again? My apologies.
Yeah. When you're about to be caught somewhere you shouldn't be, but look and act like you belong there, roll cool.
Okay.
So what I want to do with using 1 gear is pull out a mechanic's jacket and wear that, kind of like an overcoat, not overcoat, but like just a coat with the what are they called? The
Yeah,
bits
but
that
I know.
flash
Yeah.
in the dark.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Give me that cool roll and take a +1 forward because of the gear that you have.
Okay.
And you are now down to 1 gear.
Yeah. 8. Wait. Yeah, 8.
Okay. You stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The MC will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. Oh, I do so like the sprawl. Okay.
I don't get it.
Because effectively you're doing an act under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're rolling for to see how well you do. You had a
Okay.
mixed success.
Okay.
So I am trying to decide what
Uh,
the worst outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice is. Okay, you're going to be able to blend into the crowd, and they will not identify that it was you that set it off. They are going to eyeball Nixon.
okay.
So either you take the heat or he will. And that is your ugly choice.
Fuck it. Whoever shows up, I'll try and flag them down and
Okay.
tell Nixon to get the fuck out of here.
Okay. I'm happy to say, like, you guys have got, like, fucking Bluetooth headsets or whatever. Like, a lot of you have, like, cyber eyes or things like that anyway, or neural interfaces, which I'm happy to fucking act as, like, in-brain Bluetooth headsets, because there's no interest to me in you guys not being able to readily communicate in a fucking this kind of level of technology. It's just isn't narratively interesting to make that the struggle unless you're in an area where that stuff doesn't work. So but yeah, okay, so Nixon, you've gotten that nod to get out of dodge, do you? Yep. You're so valid.
Yes.
Okay.
What time
I
of day
mean,
is it, out of
honestly, I was
curiosity?
probably already leaving when the alarm went off. I'm no
Perfect.
use to anybody in prison.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, what time
No
of day is
problem.
it?
I mean, Verity City isn't a place that kind of stops at any given time of day. It's a little bit like City That Never Sleeps. Literally, the amount of neon and the fact that there's so much cloud cover present is it's really hard to get like a natural circadian rhythm going on.
I
How
was
do
just
you want to know
thinking
how
more of
long
like
you've been awake? Level of
not
busyness
just
there?
kind of work hours is what I'm thinking. Is it like
No
early
such
work
business.
hours, late work? No such thing?
No such thing here. No.
Okay.
Valid
Everyone works
question.
all the
Alright.
But no,
Good
like
to know. Trying to think of
capitalism,
wording
baby.
here. Yeah, no, trying to think of wording is why I'm asking. Okay.
No, that's not a problem at all. I tell you what, because I'm not saying that you Nairi have to come up with the exact words that Harlow says right now. What you are gonna do is give me a fast talk roll. Unless you have a means of using a different stat, you need to roll style. When you try to convince someone to do what you want with promises, lies, or bluster, roll style. And now, my friend, you are on your own. I mean,
Yeah.
Fibonacci is arguably still in your ear going, wow, that is a really loud klaxon. If I can't speak for what Fibonacci's doing right now, but you guys are still on like earpiece with each other.
It's a
Even
lot
if-
like that.
I don't think I have anything that
Okay.
helps me with
Fast talk.
fast talk.
Okay.
So I just do a straight fast talk roll?
Yep. Roll style for me, baby.
Oh god. Please. High
What's your
rolls.
stat?
Minus
Boom.
1.
Good luck.
I would have felt better if I actually talked, which is a new thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god! Oh
So
my
that's
god!
a 10 minus 1, which is 9. Okay, good
Oh,
work.
Jesus.
Here we go.
Oh.
So on a 9, the NPC, you're going to convince this member of port security that you're legit, that you have every reason to be there. You think it's just a technical fault, or you were just running a routine test and a wire must have been crossed. They're going to believe you. Somebody's going to find out about this. I get to decide what clock shifts.
Great.
So there we go.
I'll buy ourselves some time at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A clock has advanced. Oh,
So
I
could
tell you
you
what, you guys are current. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, could you review what that means again?
What a clock advancing means.
Yeah.
Every phase of the mission has a clock.
Mhm.
As do you as players. The closer a clock gets to midnight, the closer the shit is to hitting the fan. You don't ever want a clock to hit midnight. That's basically what it boils down to. Basically, it's like how high the stakes are getting. How much attention have
Okay.
you drawn to yourselves? And where is my thing? As it currently, you guys are currently in the legwork phase. Where is the correct clock?
Ooh.
There we are, my darlings. That is the legwork clock.
no.
Oh boy.
The
Isn't that nice?
fuck?
Such a happy shade of yellow.
I don't like that.
No.
It's such a happy.
No.
Sarah's giving- But
You people act like you've never seen a cyberpunk movie. Shit's about to get real. We're moving into the third act.
there you go. But
We're
right.
still setting up.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you do not get that chance to interface because that first roll went so badly.
Yeah.
So, but you managed to get out of the airport without the spaceport without being arrested, and you know about the security system.
Mm-hmm.
And I got you guys coffees.
Thank
Vanarchi
you.
got you coffee. Okay.
The coffee
Right.
also knows what you're up to.
There's a tiny little camera in the coffee cup. No, not today.
Not today,
Oh,
Starbucks.
Also
Just
cursed.
swallow the hard part that tastes like a tracking beacon.
Stomach acid will just take care of that. Couldn't problem.
It's a bean.
Okay.
It's a stray
All right.
bean.
So okay, so we've had this mixed success trip to the airport. I'm to the spaceport. I'm assuming that Fibonacci has been politely asked to vacate Nixon's eye at this point. So is this where Air and Alec go to visit Reed Bancroft? Is that what happened? Is that what is happening now?
You guys get some DNA.
I'll try.
I mean, it's not for me. We need it.
Ah.
There's a scanner at the airport.
Air, would you mind being ready, but letting me take the first crack at this?
Yes. I'll
I
be
may
there
be able to
with
convince
you.
her without resorting to certain things right away.
I'll be around in the apartment.
Okay.
Coming.
Oh, I understand.
So, Alec and Air take a little trip to Reed Bancroft's place. Tell me what you do.
Miss Bancroft.
I look intimidating behind her.
Okay.
I
Do you do the
didn't
thing
want
where
it
you
to
fold
be
your
right
arms and
here.
like put your fists underneath your biceps?
Yes, yes.
Trying so hard to shake her.
Even though I don't quite need that because they're metal mostly.
I wanted you to be able to move in, not to be visible right now.
Oh well.
Just
we'll
let
teach
it happen.
You hear a small little viewer comes up, like or switches on next to the door, and you see the face you recognize from the personnel file that Fibonacci pulled. And hello.
May we speak to you? I have reason to believe that you may be in danger.
Oh, she catches some post that's falling off a table just inside the door. um, who are you?
My name's Alec. This is Air.
Give me a fast talk roll, Alec.
Sure.
This person has enough savvy to not just open the door.
Okay, 9.
9. Do you want to try and help with this?
Sure. Yeah.
See if you can make it a 10.
What do I roll? I just roll next to.
Links.
Yes.
Links.
Yeah, you should have a 1.
I click the
We
thing?
have links with each other.
Is it doing
Yeah.
anything? I clicked the thing. Oh, no, forward. Do I have any forward? I don't.
No, you have no forward.
Okay.
Just hit submit.
Nice. 8.
Submit.
Yep. So it works. So
Slash.
that's a 10. So on a 10 plus, the NPC does what you want. So she, of course. And she buzzes the door and ushers you in. And it's not a fancy apartment. Like, being able to fly isn't necessarily much of a novelty anymore. Like, I think it's very easy to get trained as a pilot, but the fact that she works for for such a high up company, it's a nice place, but it's not massively over the top, which sort of gives the impression that either she's putting her money elsewhere or money's getting spent on something else. It's a nice enough apartment, but it's certainly nothing extravagant. Based on the person that she works for, you'd think that maybe she could afford something better. That's just the impression you get walking in. It's moderately tidy. She clearly wasn't expecting company, so it's a little bit messy, but also it's sort of like the kind of messy that speaks to somebody who's maybe not there very often. So it's a little bit disorganized rather than like slovenly kind of a vibe.
Mhm.
All right. So I think, Jade, you probably know what I'm trying to get at here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and talk so that I have time and space for an emotional connection so I can passionately advocate for my vision.
Absolutely. Okay. Give me that style roll, and we can sort of extrapolate what your conversation is.
Hell yeah!
And
Okay, so that's a 12. So nicely played. Nicely played. Okay.
Hell yeah. I gain 2 hold.
Yeah. Okay, also on 10 plus gain 2 hold, as you've done. Spend 1 hold to have the targeted NPC or NPCs give you something you want, do something you ask, fight to protect you or your cause, disobey an order given by someone with authority or leverage over them, and you aren't using the move on a PC, so it doesn't matter. So what exactly is what exactly is it you're trying to convince her of, and what are you trying to get out of this? You've got these 2 holds you can use.
Indeed. Oh, also, I have 1 million points of light. When I successfully advocate for my vision with Vision Thing, ask one of the following questions.
Do you want to spend that?
Yes, I can ask one, and then I may spend one hold to ask another, I think, if I'm reading this right.
Ask one of the following when you successfully advocate. So I suppose that means if you succeed on your vision thing roll, you can ask a question and then you can spend hold to do another thing. Yeah, sure.
What does she most desire?
Such a cock. Okay. Hmm. Good question. I'm just trying to think how best to answer it. I think she's lonely. And she doesn't have much chance to connect with people because of the nature of her job. She does a lot of traveling. And so, because it's always like clients and stuff like that, it's people that maybe don't want to talk to her very much because it's just like she talks to the driver. So, yeah, I think she kind of wants to be seen. I apologize for the local wildlife. Fucking animals. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. I think you're able to pick that up just sort of by talking to her and sort of the way that even though what you have to say, depending on what exactly you're talking about, because you didn't say, but she seems like very engaged with you and listening very attentively to what you have to say. Yeah, you get that vibe.
So, I'm explaining that there's something that's going to come up in your job. That's someone is going to try to interfere with one of your flights, and well, if you can help us, I will do what I can to make sure that you don't get hurt. And
What?
No, you go.
I was gonna say, what exactly do you want her to do or not do, as the case may be?
I want her to fly to a location of our choosing instead of the target destination.
Okay.
Which would be do something I ask and disobey an order given by someone with authority or leverage over them.
Okay, so you're burning both your hold to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nervously agrees to it and just like, and you'll make sure that I don't get into trouble, that nothing's going to happen to me.
I think I can do you better than that.
Oh?
You see, there's something about living here in this city, in this world, that you may not realize, but I would guess has been on the edge of your understanding. Perhaps you felt disconnected, that somehow you may have felt like the only real thing in a world of artifice, or maybe even that you were the only thing that felt artificial in a world of the real.
And she's sort of like, I don't know how Air is reacting to this, and I might actually ask Tom to describe that in a moment because I don't know how much Air has listened to Alec doing her thing. But Reed, for her part, is sort of like it's that she's almost like enraptured by what you're saying. It's just like, how are you speaking so clearly to me in my experiences? Like, how do you know? How are you seeing into my soul like this? That kind of vibe. So like, she's she's bought the Kool-Aid. She ain't drank it yet, but like she's accepted the cup, as it were. Like the moment is there. Air. What is this like? Like I'm picturing like Alec and Reed like sat on the couch or whatever, just having this conversation, and Air just like sort of lurking by the
Yeah,
door.
I imagine I'm kind of making a walking around a little bit, getting into the kitchen, if it is like part of this.
Oh yeah, no,
room.
it's definitely like an open plan
Yeah,
sort of vibe.
and kind of finding an apple or a banana or something.
Yep, nope, you pill for the fruit bowl. I am
Yes,
here for this.
pick it up and
Um,
kind of put my elbows on the counter and watch this with like uh squinting eyes and kind of
okay.
hating it and eating the fruit.
Sure. Okay. Easily done. Yeah, I was going to argue that arguably the eating the apple in the scariest, sexiest way possible is if you get out your own knife and start doing this slicing thing and then eat the slices one by one of the apple, which clearly the very horny director of photography of this scene, aka me, does like a long shot where the conversation is out of focus in the front, so I can just watch this scene of an apple being eaten in a really distractingly sexy way. And then somebody's just like, and focus back to the thing.
Yeah, something like
Okay, very good. Very good. And yeah, so Alec, you're talking to Reed and she's sold on it.
Yes, it's like being deep inside the weave. It feels real, but it isn't quite.
Right.
That's what this entire city is. I mean, have you ever really looked at the city? How fake everything is.
I mean, I fly around it a lot, so yeah.
Empty air and empty metal and plastic.
And she's just like nodding like this is the most insightful shit she's ever heard in her life.
Look, in this city, you are in a bit of danger. But I promise you, if you help us with this, one way or another, whatever happens, I will help you to wake up.
Thank you. And I think that is the visual that I'm gonna end today's session on. Unless, what do you have, Air?
As we are walking away after,
Yeah.
I kind of want to lean it over to Alec and feel like line of work is much.
Is it? When you kill, do they die with a scream or a smile?
Scene.
Okay, I like it. And there we go. That's the first session of Verity City. Thank you everybody that has joined us in chat. I hope you've had fun watching it. Thank you, my wonderful players, for letting me take us off in a new direction for Natural Rockers. I hope you have had fun. On Monday, I believe we are back with Dreams of the Brave. We'll put out a tweet if it's not running. Nothing on Friday. And then we are back next week with Weavers on Monday and Verity City on the Friday.
We sure are.
But that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good weekend and look after yourselves.
And thank you, Jade, for running.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh my
Bye.